If you ask any recent college graduate what they are doing to find a job, they will all tell you the exact same thing. They are fixing their resume. They are reaching out to alumni. They are updating their LinkedIn profile. They put up that little green Open to Work banner. They click Easy Apply on 50 different job postings. They wait, and then they get absolutely nothing. Maybe they get an automated email saying the company moved in a different direction. Usually, they just get silence. It is incredibly frustrating. It is enough to make you feel completely worthless. But it is easy to see why they keep trying. Everybody says you need LinkedIn to get a job. College career centers treat it like holy text. We are told that networking is the only way to succeed. Your profile is supposed to be your living, breathing resume. It is supposed to open doors to incredible opportunities. But the more you look into the actual state of this platform, the less flattering it looks behind the scenes. In fact, it looks like a complete disaster. If this app is the ultimate professional gold standard, then why are young people deleting their accounts? Why are informed users calling it the most toxic social media platform on the planet? Are they just lazy, or do they see something that regular people do not? Now, for the record, I think the current job market is absolutely brutal. However, the best way to understand a broken system is to look at the incentives that created it. So let us play devil's advocate for a second. How is it possible that a platform designed to get you hired is actually keeping you unemployed? To understand this, we have to look past the corporate buzzwords. We have to look at the actual data, the phantom jobs, and the toxic hustle culture. It is time to learn how money works to find out why LinkedIn has quietly become the absolute worst jobs app for General Z. Let us start with the biggest lie on the entire platform. It is a little button that says Easy Apply. When you are desperately looking for work, this button feels like a lifesaver. You do not have to fill out endless forms. You do not have to upload your resume 12 times. You just click one button and your application is submitted. Over 300,000 job applications are submitted on the platform every single hour. It sounds like a beautifully efficient free market. But this efficiency is an illusion. That button is actually a massive black hole. Former employees have spoken out about what really happens when you click that button. A single job post will get 800 applications almost instantly. Human beings cannot read 800 resumes in a day. They do not even try. Recruiters just filter the pile by users who pay for premium subscriptions. Then they stop reading after about the first 20 resumes. Your application never even gets downloaded. You are essentially throwing a penny into the ocean and hoping it buys you a house. The volume of applications is so high that even the perfect candidate gets completely ignored. Luck plays a massive role, but nobody wants to admit that out loud. The people having bad luck are told they just do not have a good background. They are told to network harder, but the truth is that the system is broken by design. Easy Apply works perfectly for LinkedIn. It keeps you on the app. It makes you feel productive, but it does absolutely nothing for your actual career. Then there is the infamous Open to Work banner. It wraps around your profile picture like a desperate digital halo. You are signaling to the world that you are ready and eager for a job. It seems like a smart, proactive thing to do, but in reality, it often works against you. In internal hiring meetings, many managers view that green banner as a massive red flag. They assume if you are publicly desperate, there must be a reason nobody else wants you. It is a cruel psychological trap. LinkedIn sells you a feature designed to help you, but it secretly sabotages your perceived market value. The platform never tells anyone this detail. They just let you wear the banner while your resume goes straight into the trash. This brings us to the actual jobs posted on the platform. A massive portion of them are not even real. They are ghost jobs. Sometimes, the roles were already filled internally by a colleague before the post even went live. Human resources policies simply required a public listing for legal compliance. They post the job, wait a week, and then close it. Meanwhile, thousands of hopeful graduates waste their time applying for a position that never existed. Other times, companies post phantom jobs just to signal to investors that they are growing. If a company is hiring, they must be making money, right? It is a cheap marketing trick. It artificially inflates their public image while completely draining the mental health of job seekers. You are not applying for a job. You are participating in a corporate public relations stunt. To make matters worse, the platform is flooded with useless external recruiters. They are modern middlemen who play a frantic numbers game. They send out mass, automated messages to anyone who matches a generic keyword. You think you are being headhunted because of your unique skills. In reality, you are just part of a bulk email blast. They do not read your profile. They do not read your cover letter. They just blast out spam. If you actually reply, they often ghost you because they never actually had a specific job in mind. They are just harvesting resumes to build out their own databases. LinkedIn is supposed to connect professionals, but it has turned into a breeding ground for resume vampires. But the fake jobs and the spam are only part of the problem. The real nightmare of LinkedIn is the brand identity it has cultivated. It is widely considered the most cringe-inducing corner of the internet. It masks deep toxicity under a guise of executive development. The platform is basically a giant plastic resume filled with synthetic relationships. People do not act like human beings on this app. They act like corporate robots. They use misleading rhetoric to inflate their credentials. A recent study found that more than 1/3 of users fabricate details in their profiles. This creates a warped professional hierarchy, where everybody is lying to look important. Consider the classic fake job title. Someone will proudly claim to be the director of security for a massive global corporation. It sounds incredibly impressive, but if you actually dig into the company directory, you find the truth. They are really just a frontline technical support vendor. They reset passwords for a living. There is absolutely nothing wrong with technical support, but the platform encourages people to aggressively exaggerate their importance. This constant bragging creates a massive wave of imposter syndrome for young workers. More than half of the user base is in their 20s and early 30s. This is an age bracket already dealing with immense career uncertainty. They log onto the app and see everyone else crushing it. They see promotions, awards, and glamorous trade shows. They subconsciously feel inferior. They feel like they are failing at life. This environment breeds a very specific type of toxic content. It is known across the internet as hustle porn. People post completely unhinged stories to farm engagement. They write these long, sprawling posts with one sentence per line. The internet affectionately calls this format broetry. It always starts with a bizarre, unexpected workplace anecdote. It is meant to impart some deep, inspirational lesson. In the end, it just delivers a tired, empty cliché. They tell you to wake up at 4 in the morning. They tell you to stop drinking soy lattes. They demand that you grind for 14 hours a day. They speak in metaphorical fables as if they have unlocked the secrets of the universe. In reality, they are just middle managers doing administrative paperwork. This performative vulnerability is exhausting to witness. Someone will post about a candidate who showed up late to an interview. The candidate was late because they stopped to rescue a stray dog. The manager hired them anyway because it showed true leadership. Did this actually happen? Almost certainly not. It is entirely made up for likes and shares. People spew the most mundane garbage, and hundreds of connections comment to validate them. They say things like, "Brilliant insight, Mark," or "So true, Susan." It is a massive echo chamber of ego stroking. It feels like a town where everyone is forced to smile. It is a psychotically happy environment, where reality is strictly forbidden. If you are struggling, you cannot say that. You have to be thrilled, proud, and excited about every single minor inconvenience. If this culture is so universally hated, you have to wonder why it exists. The answer goes back to the history of the platform itself. LinkedIn did not start out as a toxic social media feed. Back in 2003, it was just a quiet digital job board. It was a place to park your resume and connect with a few former coworkers. It was incredibly successful at this specific task. Within a few years, it had millions of users. It went public. It became a massive Silicon Valley darling. But then they watched the explosive growth of Facebook and Twitter. They realized that a static resume board does not generate daily active users. People only visited the site when they needed a job. That is terrible for selling advertising space. So they pivoted hard into becoming a social network. They introduced the newsfeed. They allowed anyone to publish long articles. They added video features. They added a confusing algorithm. In 2016, Microsoft bought the platform for $26 billion. They supercharged the algorithm to maximize engagement at all costs. The platform rewarded the loudest, most obnoxious voices. The algorithm did not care if the content was helpful. It only cared if people clicked on the little Read More button. This directly incentivized the creation of awful broetry. If you write your post with annoying line breaks, people are forced to click to expand it. The algorithm registers that click as deep engagement. The system rewards you for being as annoying as humanly possible. The incentives are completely misaligned with the actual goal of finding work. The people who genuinely want to do good work are pushed out. They are replaced by professional posters. These people are the ultimate box tickers. They create meaningless content to justify their own existence. They spend their days curating a flawless digital persona instead of doing actual labor. For the average young person just trying to pay off student debt, it is a nightmare. They are forced to participate in this charade. If you are not posting every day, Some recruiter might think you are not passionate. The daily use of this work app is slowly destroying our leisure time. The boundaries between your personal life and professional life have completely vanished. You are expected to be on the clock, networking, 24 hours a day. This has real psychological and economic impacts. The United States currently has one of the longest work weeks in the developed world. Job unhappiness among the working class is at an absolute all-time high. 3/4 of Americans report severe symptoms of burnout. LinkedIn takes that burnout and monetizes it. The platform generated $14.5 billion in revenue recently. They make this money by directly commodifying your interpersonal relationships. They sell your data to recruiters. They sell targeted advertising based on your deepest career anxieties. Every time you doom scroll through fake job postings, they make a profit. They have trapped an entire generation in an endless cycle of self-promotion. You cannot easily just delete the app like you can with Instagram. If you delete your account, you basically cease to exist in the corporate world. Many employers require you to provide a profile link just to apply. They want to browse your activity to see if you fit their culture. It is a mandatory hostage situation. You have to build a digital stall in this creepy corporate marketplace. You have to put on your customer service face and pretend everything is fine. You have to watch your peers hop from job to job while your own applications vanish into the void. It is a deeply isolating experience disguised as professional connectivity. We are witnessing the direct consequences of turning career survival into a competitive social game. Young workers are desperate for a simple, honest way to exchange labor for a paycheck. Instead, they are forced to become amateur marketing executives for their own personal brand. They have to play a rigged game against bots, spam recruiters, and phantom jobs. They are losing their sense of individuality in the process. They are being assimilated into a cult of synthetic optimism. And the worst part is, they are doing all of this work for absolutely free. Microsoft is the only one cashing the checks. If everyone hates this platform so much, you might wonder how it even survives. You might assume it is slowly dying out. You might think it is destined to become the next massive internet failure. But that is the ultimate paradox here. The platform is actually a completely unstoppable monster business. It generates tens of billions of dollars every single year. In 2025, they pulled in over $17.8 billion in total revenue. This represents a steady year-over-year growth of about 10%. Compare that massive number to other popular social networks. Twitter only brought in around $3 billion. Snapchat made about $5.7 billion. This cringe-inducing professional website makes both of them look tiny. It boasts over 1 billion global users. Ironically, 60% of those users are young adults between the ages of 24 and 34. This is the exact demographic that complains about it the absolute most. So how is a platform that everyone despises printing so much money? The answer is painfully simple to understand. You have to realize who the actual customer really is. If you are a young job seeker, you are not the customer. You are just the product. You are the digital inventory sitting on the shelf. The real customers are massive business-to-business marketers and corporate recruiters. Over 65 million users on the platform are corporate decision makers. More than half of the American users make over $100,000 a year. This is a massive concentration of corporate wealth. Business marketers absolutely love this highly targeted environment. 84% of them believe this platform delivers the best value for their advertising dollars. 80% of their high-quality leads come directly from this site. When a massive corporation wants to sell expensive enterprise software, they do not go to TikTok. They come exactly here. They use the detailed data you provided for free to target their expensive ads. The platform is not actually designed to get you hired. It is designed to sell incredibly expensive corporate software to your future boss. This reality explains why the user experience feels so incredibly hostile to normal people. They have no financial incentive to make job hunting easy for you. If finding a job was fast and simple, you would leave the app immediately. They want you stuck inside the maze. They want you endlessly scrolling past sponsored posts. They want you getting desperate enough to finally buy their premium subscription. They eagerly sell you the cure to the exact disease they created. They tell you that a shiny premium badge will finally make your resume visible. But when everyone desperately buys the premium badge, nobody actually stands out. It is a pointless digital arms race where the only real winner is Microsoft. You are doing endless unpaid data entry to build out their massive corporate directory, and you politely thank them for the privilege of being included in it. To make things even worse, the platform recently embraced generative artificial intelligence. The internet was already completely exhausted by fake, overly enthusiastic humans. Now we have to deal with fake, overly enthusiastic robots. There was a recent algorithm update known as 360 Brew. It was supposed to protect users from a total dystopia of automated garbage. Instead, it seemingly did the exact opposite. It supercharged the absolute worst tendencies of the entire site. It is currently feeding people pure artificial intelligence-generated content that takes zero effort to create. Users on message boards are constantly pointing out how completely insane this has become. You have lazy people using chatbots to write completely soulless generic articles. Then other lazy people use different chatbots to generate highly professional comments on those articles. It is quite literally just machines talking endlessly to machines. It is a fully automated circle of meaningless corporate jargon, and human beings are forced to sit right in the middle of it and pretend it is profound. One user genuinely said they prefer the artificial intelligence crap because the human posts are just too depressing to read. This creates an incredibly bizarre and dangerous social dynamic. The platform has become a massive breeding ground for highly unqualified idiots. People talk completely out of their depth and openly praise each other for their total incompetency. On Twitter or Reddit, if you say something deeply stupid, people will quickly call you out. But on this app, your profile is publicly tied to your real, legal name. It is tied to your current employer and your delicate future career prospects. Nobody wants to be the angry person starting a massive fight in the digital office. Therefore, absolutely nobody challenges anything. Horrible ideas are met with massive rounds of digital applause. Terrible management advice goes completely unchecked by reality. The site is full of worthless posts where users endlessly validate each other in a bizarre ritual. It is a heavily enforced positive echo chamber. If you point out that the corporate emperor has no clothes, you might get fired. So everyone just tightly smiles and nods at the naked emperor. The psychological toll of this forced networking is incredibly heavy on young workers. It is getting so bad that many young people are deleting their profiles altogether. They log onto the app and feel absolutely terrible about themselves. They watch an endless highlight reel of everyone else supposedly crushing it in their careers. It is a toxic, egocentric breeding zone, just like every other social media site. But it is arguably much worse than a platform like Instagram. If you see someone with a nice car on Instagram, you might feel a little bit jealous. If you see someone on this app getting the exact job you were just rejected for, it destroys your self-worth. It aggressively weaponizes human productivity. It makes you feel like your entire value as a human being is tied entirely to your job title. The platform constantly conflates your personal identity with your daily professional output. It guilt-trips you into engaging in business networking during your precious free time. You feel absolutely terrified of falling behind your professional peers. So you spend 3 to 5 miserable hours a week scrolling through a toxic feed of fake achievements. Is there any way to actually fix this completely miserable experience? Some critics strongly argue the platform needs a complete foundational overhaul. They say the algorithm heavily needs to punish clickbait and low-effort one-liners. They suggest secretly shadow banning users who constantly use cheap engagement bait. They argue the site should build genuine, value-driven communities like you might find on Reddit. If the site actually focused on helping people find honest work, it could be truly amazing. It clearly has the massive demand, the huge user base, and the integrated business ecosystem. But, realistically speaking, that is probably never going to actually happen. Those highly annoying clickbait posts generate massive amounts of daily traffic. That massive traffic generates highly lucrative ad revenue. The company has absolutely zero financial incentive to clean up the endless cringe. They are far too busy printing billions of dollars while you are busy crying over your formatted resume. The system is working perfectly for the powerful people who actually own the system. So what do you actually do in this situation? You cannot easily escape this terrible digital prison. Networking really is a necessary evil in a highly competitive modern economy. Nearly 85% of jobs are currently filled through some basic form of networking. If you completely delete your account, you essentially shoot your own career in the foot. But you can absolutely change the way you personally interact with it. You have to treat this app like a highly toxic public restroom. You go in, you do exactly what you need to do, and you get out immediately. You strictly must stop doom scrolling through the endless feed. Do not believe the massive glowing lies you constantly read. Very few jobs are actually the amazing opportunity that desperate users claim they are. Most people are just struggling to barely survive exactly like you are. You must heavily limit your screen time and aggressively protect your leisure hours. Stay firmly in your own lane and use the tool strictly for your own direct benefit. At the end of the day, your corporate job does not define your actual worth. Success is not a static, smiling image on a digital billboard. Do not let a giant tech monopoly ever convince you that you are a failure. They just want you to feel deeply insecure, so you will keep helplessly clicking. It is incredibly important to remember that most of what you see is carefully curated fiction. The job market is tough enough without carrying the heavy weight of a billion fake resumes. Step away from the glowing screen and actually live your real life. If you found this breakdown helpful, be sure to share it with someone currently trapped in the networking maze.